Hello again and welcome to another Mordian Mondays. This is episode 83. Now this week guys, I'm going to try something a little bit different with the formatting of this video. Rather than having a series of pictures go through an endless cycle and flick constantly on the screen, instead I'm going to have a picture come up on the screen and then talk about that picture until I'm finished about it and then move on to the next one and so on and so forth. So rather than having this endless cycle, I have had some people say it can be a little annoying when I'm talking about something that's not on screen yet, or B, the pictures are constantly flicking. So to be fair, the only reason I haven't done it up to this point is it's just been speed and, to be honest, probably a little bit of laziness. So we're going to try it with the Mordian Mondays and then figure out how we can incorporate it into the other videos as well, where I use other people's pictures. But just let me know what you think. If it's not a big deal, don't worry about it, but just let me know what you think about the new sort of format. Now, without further ado, let's dive straight into today's video. So a quick summary of what we're going to talk about. I'm going to talk about the hobbying that I've done this week, the painting and whatnot, and then I'm going to be covering a little bit of a forward look on what to expect for the rest of the week. So the battle report, that's going to be up tomorrow, and then there'll be an after action report for that as well, and then there will be a tactics video. So that's the plan. Now in terms of the schedule, the current plan is obviously today will be Mordian Monday, tomorrow will be the battle report, we'll then do the tactics video on Wednesday, and then we'll have the after action report for the battle report on the Thursday. And the reason I leave that gap of a day is because if I have the after action report right after the actual battle report, sometimes it causes people to watch the after action first and they get some spoilers, and it can be, you know, a little annoying for them. So we're just going to try and make sure that we have everything in the right order. So first things first, let's talk about what I have painted this week. So I've continued smashing through my Black Templars pile of shame, and I can say that I have almost completely cleared my Black Templars pile of shame. In fact, the first thing I want to talk about is I completed 2 more rhinos this week. That means I've completed in total 5 rhinos, 5 rhinoceroses. And I have to say that I've just really enjoyed painting these vehicles. They're so quick and easy to paint, but there's still just enough detail on there to keep them interesting, especially with the Black Templar upgrade sprue. So for those that aren't aware, you can actually buy a quite extensive, it's £20. So but to be fair, it's been £20 for a long time now, so it has avoided some of the price increases, but it's £20 and you can buy a Black Templar upgrade kit. Now, unlike some of the more modern upgrade kits, which have been about £8 to £10, but only come with like 1 sprue, the Black Templars kit is £20, but it comes with, I think it's 3 or maybe even 4 sprues. It comes with loads. It comes with chain swords, it comes with bolters, unique bolters and chain swords and bolt pistols for your Black Templars. So in fact, you can actually convert all your tactical marines to have bolt pistol and chainsword if you're playing them as Crusaders. The bolters themselves are all unique sculpts as well. There are chains moulded onto all the weapons because the Black Templars chain their weapons to themselves before they go into combat to make sure they can never drop them and never lose them. And there's unique helmets. There's at least 10 unique shoulder pads. Now, you can put 2 unique shoulder pads on each tactical marine, but what I like to do is just put 1 unique shoulder pad on the tactical marine's right shoulder, because that way you can use the upgrade kit to upgrade an entire squad of 10 tactical marines. So I have 1 shoulder pad as the normal tactical marine shoulder pad, or sometimes I'll put on like the bobbly one, or I use a lot of Mark IV, Mark III shoulder pads as well. So I have 1 sort of generic, but often not using the normal tactical marine shoulder pad on the left, and then I can use that for transfers, or just have a really smooth crisp white, or to do some freehand on there. And then on the right hand shoulder pad, I use one of these unique Black Templar upgrade sprue shoulder pads, which have everything from they've got loads of just normal Templar crosses, just like embossed on them, or you also have loads of purity seals, and there's huge variety. I think there might be more than 10. There could be a dozen shoulder pads on just one of these upgrade sprues, and there's enough bolters. It also comes with an extra plasma, melter, and flamer for your squad. Again, unique Black Templar sculpts on all of those. Comes with at least 10 unique Black Templar heads. Comes with enough, that's just the tactical marine stuff we're talking about, like I said, bolt pistols, chainsaws, bolters as well. Also comes with loads of additional iconography so you get little shrines so that you can put on backpacks or on vehicles. As you can see, I've used one of these on this left-hand Rhino. So the left-hand Rhino, but the right-hand track above that, you got a little skull shrine. That's from the upgrade sprue. Anyway, I could go on and on about how great it is, but it also includes Rhino upgrades and Terminator upgrades. So there's loads of Terminator upgrades, and you get power weapons. You get power fist, power sword, power axe. You get all the power weapons you could want as well. But what is relevant to what we're talking about today is I've used one of those shrines on the left-hand Rhino, and also if you look at the front of the Rhino, you'll see that it's got a different front to the normal one. And the side panel, side hatches, they're unique as well. So it comes with vehicle upgrades, Terminator upgrades, just loads of little bits of iconography and tactical marine upgrades as well. So it's got absolutely everything you could possibly ask for. It's an absolutely fantastic kit. And I have used lots of bits from that kit to upgrade all of my Rhinos, and I have actually completed 5 Rhinos in total now. Now what's interesting is 3 of these Rhinos are actual like Rhino Razorback kits. One of them, which I featured last week, it was actually a Predator kit, and I just haven't glued the sponsors on. But this is the interesting one to talk about this week is the Rhino that's on the left-hand side of this picture. Because that's actually a Chaos Rhino. Yeah, I had a Chaos Rhino, so I had a random Chaos Rhino kit. I think I picked it at some point for my never ever to be completed World Eaters project. But I decided, you know what, I've got to make a decision on how I'm going to approach these World Eaters. So, you know, I thought, you know, I'll just use it for my Black Templars. And the interesting is that the kit does have some actual differences. I thought it would be exactly the same kit, but there would be like a random Chaos Spiky bit sprue thrown in. It's not at all. So firstly, what we've got to remember is it's not the Razorback kit. So it doesn't come with the Razorback weapons. But interestingly, it does come with the Razorback turret ring. So that's kind of interesting. But what's also weird is like the searchlight is different. So if you look at the searchlight on the left Rhino, it's much bigger. And there's no like housing for the searchlight than the one on the right hand side, which is an Imperial Rhino. And then the smoke launchers are different as well. The smoke launchers on the Imperial Rhino are like 3 little tubes, similar to the Imperial Guard ones. But the one on the Chaos Rhino, they're 4 little square ones. It's really interesting. There's also, so you do, don't get me wrong, you do get a Chaos Spiky sprue in there as well. But the actual vehicle accoutrement, should we say, the vehicle additional bits like the lamps and the smoke launchers and whatnot, they are totally different. Even the top hatch is different. Top hatch is, I've had to de-chaosify it a bit, but even the little round top hatch where the Stormbolter could go, that's different as well. So it's interesting how Games Workshop does produce these 2 separate kits, whereas how I would do it if I was them is I would just produce the one kit and then add in 1 additional sprue for the Chaos things. Because what I would do, and this is just totally off topic, what I would do if I was Games Workshop is I wouldn't sell a Chaos Rhino or a Imperial Rhino or even like a Sororitas Rhino or anything like that. I would just sell the Rhino kit, and you can just buy your generic Rhino kit. But there should be like an additional thing you can add, like from a drop-down menu on the Games Workshop website. Do you want to add in the Ultramarine upgrade kit, the Salamander, the Iron Hands, the Black Templar? Do you want to add in the Sororitas upgrade kit, the Chaos upgrade kit? So you make the actual Rhino itself only cost like 25 quid. You bring the price down, and it comes with no upgrades, and you don't even sell the Razorback as a separate thing anymore. You just have the Rhino kit, and then if you want to buy the Razorback upgrade, that's an additional 5. If you want to add the Chaos thing, that's additional 5. If you want to add, you know, so that way your basic Rhino is only like £25, and if people just want a metal box for throwing people around in, they can do that. And if they want to Chaos it up, if they want to Scissors it up, if they want to you know, Razorback it up, if they want a specific chapter it up, I would add that as an upgrade sprue for a £5 that you can buy at the point of purchase on the website. And you know what I do? I do the same thing for things like the tactical marine kit as well. Sell one basic tactical marine kit for like cheaper, and then you add on these optional extras like chaos upgrades, iron hands upgrades, all these things. That's how I would do it. That's how I do it. And you could have loads of baseline kits that people could use. And then the way you get the money from this with these extra upgrades. And all Games Workshop does is they just pop those in the fucking box, before it goes out. I don't know, or they just sellotape it to the side before they post it out to you. And the stores could have all these on. Yeah, that's how I would do it. Because that's how they get you in like retail and stuff. Why don't they have all those things by the counter? Why do you think the guy's always asking you, do you need this, do you need that today? They a lot of companies make their money on what they call add-ons. So something to think there, Games Workshop. Save money on streamlining the kits across multiple armies. And then you can make money on the upgrade sprues. Because the people who are going to be buying a lot of 40k people will go all out. And will go for all the fluffy upgrades and stuff they can get for their army. I've done it with all my Black Templars. And it's not even my main army. So anyway, big old rant on the Rhino, but what else have I been working on? I say rant, more like conversation. What else have I been working on this week? Well, I've actually been working on some Storm Talons. So I actually already had one of these Storm Talons built and painted, but it wasn't in entirely the right colour scheme. It was in the black colour scheme, but I hadn't done some of the extra details, and I hadn't done the red wings on the side, red wingtips. So, but the other one I entirely painted this week. So it's sort of, I'd say I painted 1.5 Storm Talons this week. Now I actually really like the Storm Talon, and I think it's just a good nippy little flyer. I guess its main weakness is it's only toughness 6, it's only got 10 wounds, but the fact it's only got 10 wounds is actually kind of an advantage when it comes to secondaries, because if someone kills it, it only gives them 1 secondary point for bring it down. The amount of firepower one of these things kicks out as well, it has twin assault cannon and twin las cannon, which tends to make it able to take on almost any threat. So twin las cannon allows it to just zip around and just, plink plink, take down some, any hard target really. But the assault cannon helps resolve one of the problems that a lot of flyers have, which is volume of fire. They often feel like they're quite expensive for not a huge amount of output. So I really like these. So I've got 2 with twin las cannon and assault cannon. Because even though prices for points, can go up and down on war gear options, las cannons, even if they're expensive, will always be a good anti-tank choice. Assault cannons will always be a good anti-infantry choice. So I do like Storm Talons. They are quite expensive though. They're 185 points each. But I am starting to really look closely at aircraft again, because they allow you to score engageable fronts really reliably. So one of the things that I learned about sort of 9th edition with my Scions, when I've got my 2 Valkyries, is that engageable fronts, they say Guard have got the fastest infantry, and they do, to be fair, but it can still be very difficult to maximise engageable fronts with a regular Guard army or a foot slogging army. I tend to find if you've just got a few units, like 2, 3, maybe at most 4 units, that are just really fast, but also have quite good firepower, then you can just zip those into table quarters and they're fine. They can score engage, because engage doesn't exclude aircraft, amazingly. I've read and double read it. Please, someone correct me if I'm wrong. There's always updates and whatnot going on in 9th edition and 40k these days. But I believe engage can be scored by by flyers. So I'm quite happy to add these 2 Storm Talons into my Firstborn Black Templars, because they're great anti-tank. What this are, if I've got all these Rhinos, I need something that can reach out and do some long-range firepower. And having 4 assault cannons and 4 las cannons, that's certainly going to be able to tear it up a little bit. And if they die, they're not like hugely integral to my strategy. They're not the end of the world if they die, basically. So I do like my Storm Talons. So I've done 2 Rhinos and a Storm Talon and a half this week. What else? What else have I got done this week? Well, I will tell you what else I got done. I have got done a land speeder. Now I have to say, after painting this land speeder, I have totally fallen in love with the zippy little buggers. They look so good. They're so zippy and nippy for just flying around the battlefield. They're so cool. And I guess, yeah, well, I guess this is something that I would say for all of the units that I've painted this week. The Rhinos, the Storm Talons, the land speeder. I was able to get so much painted in 1 week for two reasons. One, it's a relatively simplistic colour scheme. It's a black base coat and then you do like detail essentially. But the other thing that allowed me to get away with a paint scheme like that was the fact that the models weren't overly busy. One of the criticisms that I have had, and I've been told it's a bit of a weird criticism, but one of the criticisms that I have of 40k models, especially the new ones, are that there is just so much fine detail on the models that it can take forever to paint up an army, especially a horde army. Now this is one of the, one of the things I noticed when painting these older models, with Storm Talon being the newest one out of all these kits, and I'll go back in a minute, is that it was so easy. Look, oh yeah, to spray paint the Rhinos, get the details done. I got 2 Rhinos done in the evening. I got a Storm Talon and a half done in a day. I got a land speeder done in an evening. It was just so easy to get it all painted up. So, and over the last 10 days, I've painted 5 Rhinos, 2 Storm Talons, and a land speeder. That's in 10 days. Between last Mordian Mondays, because I didn't start my painting last week until a bit later in the week. So basically over the last 10 or so days, I've painted up 8 vehicles. It takes me that long to paint 10 bloody Mordians. Because I add loads of extra bits onto them. It takes me that long to paint up 5 like infantry of any of the newer kits and whatnot. So yeah, I definitely would say it was just so easy. There was something just very joyful about the simplicity and ease in which I could paint the kits up and not feel like I had to do all of the minute detail that you see on the new kits. Just something you said. Anyway, going back to the land speeder itself, I really enjoyed painting this kit. Now, I actually have one more land speeder to paint, and both of this land speeder and the one I've still got to do, both those are the older kit, which means the weapons are actually metal on these kits. And let me tell you, whilst I appreciate the less detail of the older kits, those plastic ones like just on the bottom and just the right amount of detail, I have to say the quality of putting them together is so much better on the new kits. On the newer kits, you just put things together and it just works. So recently for my orcs, I was building Gazgul, and he looks like a model that would be an absolute ball ache to put together. But actually, he was super easy and everything slotted together perfectly. Then you have these land speeders, which have no right to be as difficult as they are, but my God, they are so difficult to put together. They are more super glue than plastic. It's just, I don't know if it was because the land speeder kit that I had, I think, was about 10 years old and had basically been sat in one dude's attic for 5 years before it came to me, and then I've had it for 5 years. Maybe it's a simple case of it just being an old kit and the plastic's been warped somehow. I don't know. But all I can tell you is both of these land speeder kits were a fucking nightmare to put together. Especially, I believe it's the Typhoon, the one with the missile launchers, because that's the one that I've not painted yet, because that kit has metal Typhoon missile launchers, and it is so back heavy that you would think it was designed by a Pixar mum animator. Okay, that's how back heavy it is. So I'm looking forward to I'm not looking forward to painting. I'm going to be sarcastic. I'm not really looking forward to painting that, but I think I may have solved the issue. 1, a shit of super glue, and 2, I've magnetised the flying base because it was very much tempting to snap off very, very quickly. In fact, I magnetised both flying bases and it was really, really easy on the land speeders. Now, one thing that I really like about land speeders is that they're cheap for what you get. So, a land speeder comes with, for 90 points, this is what I paid for this land speeder, it comes with an assault cannon and it comes with a multi-melter. Now, it is the price of essentially 2 Sentinels. Okay, and whilst the 2 Sentinels will have more wounds, they'll have double the wounds, the Landspeeder doesn't need as many wounds because it's so fast and it's so small that you're only going to be able to target it if the Landspeeder wants you to target it. So it's always able to get into position. And it's something that you'll see in the battle report that will be coming out tomorrow, which I'll be talking about in a little bit more detail in a moment. But what I found is that the Landspeeder, whilst it has, it sort of has indirect defensive, which it just hides out of line of sight, and then you put it at the very back of your deployment zone, and then it's got like a 16-inch movement, so it's got double the movement. It's got the same number of wounds, it's got the same toughness. It has more than double the weapons. It has an assault cannon, which is just a good weapon, and then it has a multi-melt. Now bear in mind, if you're taking 2 Lascannon Sentinels, you're actually spending 10 points more than on this Landspeeder. And you're getting 2 Lascannon shots at Ballistic Skill 4+. Or you can take a Landspeeder, which has got 2 multi-melter shots, hitting on Ballistic Skill 3+. In fact, you could probably, it's tempting to say, now I haven't really looked into that, but I believe the basic Landspeeder is 60 points with a multi-melter. You compare that to a Sentinel, the Landspeeder wins hands down every single time. It's got the same wounds, same toughness, but better ballistic skill and better firepower. So whilst I've got this old, Tornado kit and old Typhoon kit, I'm really looking into some basic ass Landspeeders for my Black Templars, because I think they could be really, really good. Because they just, what you'll see happens in this battle report is this Landspeeder just zips out on the turn that I want it to zip out, and just does really, really well. And it could have done really, really well, like multiple turns in a row. It's only my opponent's fantastic saves that managed to sort of blunt sort of the damage that it was able to do. But I was very impressed by just having a single Landspeeder in my list. It was really interesting. And also, again, great for engaging all fronts. Now here's the interesting thing. Here's what's got the old Mordian Glory cogs turning in my brain. Turning slowly because I have a slow brain, but turning nonetheless. For each one of those Storm Talons that I've got, I can take 2 of these Landspeeder Tornadoes. They're the ones with the assault cannon and the multi-melter. Now that actually means that I have the same amount of assault cannon shots, but I would have 4 multi-melter shots. Okay, same toughness, more wounds than the Storm Talon. Now not as fast, admittedly, because the Storm Talon can go like 45-50 inches a turn if it wants to, but I can still go 16 inches. Not bad, not bad at all. So I'd have more firepower and I would save myself 5 points. So that's definitely something to think about. The only issue is that it would mean I would be giving up 2 secondaries, 1 for each Landspeeder killed. But it would definitely mean I could run around this battlefield with 6 Landspeeders and 5 Rhinos and still have enough points for 50 Marines and 3 characters. Definitely, it's got the cogs turning. 6 Landspeeders is 12 multi-melter shots in a turn. That's a lot. It's 36 assault cannon shots in a turn. Again, that's a lot. Now they're not core and all that kind of stuff, but in a funny sort of way, not being core is a big problem, but in a funny sort of way, not being core also to sort of, it's like a burden is lifted because you're no longer worried, oh, is it going to be in range of a character? No, it's not, and it doesn't matter if it isn't because it's not core. It can do what it wants. It can act totally independently. I don't need to bubble everything in a big ball. So there are some things said for it. Point is I'm loving Landspeeders. Now I'm sure there's some Primaris bullshit out there that's better, and I've still been told that attack bikes, even after the nerf, are probably better. But I am very interested in Landspeeders. They've got the fly keyword, they can go wherever they want, they're faster, they're tougher, they've got more wounds, they've got more firepower. Yeah. I'm definitely thinking about Landspeeders in a big way. I've got 2. I've got a multi-melter and assault cannon, and I've got a multi-melter and Typhoon missile launcher one. I'm very excited to see what they can do in upcoming battle reports. I have to say, I'm really in a Black Templar sort of phase at the moment. I guess after taking a bit of a hammering with my guard last week, I've just sort of stepped away from the army for a little bit, and I'm just painting other stuff. I'm having like a purge, I'm refreshing my palette, and I'm just purging Black Templars. Perfect, right? But yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to getting some more Black Templar games in. I think I just burned myself out on guard just a little bit. So I've got the army, and obviously I've got more than one guard army, and of course still going to be using it in battle ports and whatnot. But I'm really enjoying just using Marines. Marines are like a comfy pair of slippers. You can always just slide in and play a Marine army. It doesn't matter. So that's everything that I painted this week, and then I've got an overview picture of everything that I've painted over the last 2 weeks, in case anyone is wondering, did he really paint 5 rhinos in like 10 days? And the answer is yes, 5 rhinos and 3 of the vehicles. And you can see that on screen now. So you can see here the 5 rhinos, the 2 storm talons, and the land speeder. So quite a lot done in 10 days. Now that's all the hobbying stuff for this week. Just to do a brief mention on sort of the forward look, and then some just sort of tactical thoughts that I've had as well regarding the Black Templars. So in terms of the forward look, the tactics video, I have not yet decided what I'm going to cover with the tactics video. It'll be an Imperial Guard one, but obviously this week has been a bit of a it's going to be a bit of a Black Templar week, because obviously I've got the Mordian Mondays talking about the Black Templars, then I've got the battle report, and then I've got the after action report. But we'll make sure that there is some guard content as well. So tune in on Wednesday for a guard tactics video. You guys know though, my schedule is pretty fluid. So, and my creativity is pretty all over the place. So it may be we have a Marine week. We just have a week of Marines. I don't know yet, to be honest. I will see how I feel on Wednesday. I haven't recorded the video yet. I will see how I feel on Wednesday. And if I feel like I'm in a Marine mood, I'm just vibing off these Marines, then I'll do a video on that. I'll probably do an update on the Black Tide or some tactics or whatever for Firstborn Marines. I don't know yet. I don't know. So we'll see how it. You know what, you guys know me. I like to sort of go with the wind a little bit. But one thing I definitely want to say is it was the battle report coming up tomorrow is kind of an interesting one. So it's Black Templars versus Iron Hands. So it is a Marine on Marine battle. Now I know some people will groan, Marine on Marine, and I know we do try and avoid blue on blue on this channel, and yet we do have a lot of blue on blue. The fact of the matter is, guys, that most people I know, in fact most people in general, and Games Workshop, most Games Workshop products are Imperium ones. So it tends to me, and most, I have mostly Imperium. The only non-Imperium fully fleshed out army I have is my Gene Stealer cult. I have my World Eaters, but they're in such a bad state, I can't even use, I haven't used them in battle, let alone on a battle report. I really need to know what I'm going to do with them. Johnny has, he's got Death Watch, he's got Knights, and he's got Blood Angels galore. But, his only sort of Xenos army he wants to use is his Dark Elder, because his tower in a poor state, basically. And then Sam has got Sam, who is going to be becoming more of a regular feature on the channel. We're going to try and sort of bring him into this Battle Brothers YouTube collective that me and Johnny are making. Sam has got AdMech and Marines. So the simple fact is that we have a lot of Imperial armies. I will obviously be beholden on me to expand the Orcs, and maybe even look into another Xenos army or a Chaos army. I do have a smattering of Necrons I could probably boost up. Well, I say I have them, the missus has them, but she only plays like once a year. So I have a smattering of Necrons that I could boost up. There's loads of things that we could do. But I need to get more Xenos armies on the channel, basically, because otherwise there is going to be a lot of blue and blue. It's going to be a little unavoidable. But yeah, so that's... but what I want to say is the battle report is really interesting. It's really interesting because it's kind of... Sam has a lot of... he's got about 50% of his army in Primaris. So it's a little bit like Primaris versus Firstborn. Because my army, my Black Templars are exclusively Firstborn and will always be Firstborn until Games Workshop decides to swap them, which I'm not sure what's going to happen there, but my Black Templars will be Firstborn. The only exception to that would be is that if Games Workshop release like a Primaris High Marshal Helbrecht or Primaris Grimaldus or Primaris Empress Champion, In which case, I would get those models because, you know, I love those characters. But I wouldn't say they were Primaris. I would just say it's big, chunky Helbrecht. It's big, chunky Grimaldus. You know, they've given Grimaldus an extra attack and extra wound. They've given, you know, Helbrecht the same thing. They've given the Emperor Champion the same thing. So that's how I would say it. Now, I already have the Emperor's Champion model. And I already have the Helbrecht model. So I wouldn't necessarily need to buy any models. I'd say, look, this is Helbrecht. So you can still use the old Marnius Calgar if you've got the new one. Still use him. He still gets all the extra buffs that Primaris Calgar got. Same as with Mephiston. He's just an older model now. So that's probably what I would end up doing. In fact, I'm going to make sure I get the Grimaldus model because there are some rumours on the wind that there is some new Black Templar stuff coming. So yeah, but it was a really, really good battle report. It was a very casual. It's very much a friendly game. Now, last week I did say, right, time to get serious. What was interesting is a lot of people came out and said, we don't really want you to get too serious, Morning Glory. We actually quite like that you are a bit more casual and a bit laid back. And that really resonated with me. So this battle report is actually a very casual one. And yes, it's not got Imperial Guard, but I highly recommend you go and check it out because it is the definition of a casual, friendly game. Me and Sam were just being super chill with each other, let you know, just, oh yeah, just go for it. Don't worry about it. Oh, I forgot to do that. Don't worry about it. Just rewind. It's okay. And obviously we cut a lot of that out in editing and all that, so it doesn't feel frustrating, lots of back and forth. But it was a super friendly game. Sam is way more experienced with his Marines. In fact, his Marines are his main army. He's used them more than his AdMech. And so there was loads of times that he was like, look, dude, you're making a really boneheaded move there. Just, you know, you just put that guy in that transport and you'll be able to do that next turn with him. And I was like, of course, that makes so much sense. So Sam, you know, absolute gen, and I'm really happy that we're going to be seeing him on the channel more as well because it's you know, it's just a really nice person to play against. So yeah, it's just a really, really friendly and really fun game. So I highly recommend you check it all out. No spoilers or anything, but like I said, a little bit of a Firstborn versus Primaris vibe. And that's it. I don't want to give too much away. All I can say is that, you know, one thing it has made me think about, there's no spoilers here, is that I ran a lot of Crusaders and I ran a lot of Combat Crusaders as well. It's about 50-50 split. And I had to say, Combat Crusaders, they're kind of really good, but they're not broken. But when you've got 2 wounds with each Marine now, and when Crusaders can take an Astartes Chainsword, they basically get the profile of an Intercessor, the combat capability of an Intercessor, but for like 5 points cheaper. So they can't, you know, they can't shoot worth toffee, you know, because they've got pistols. But each guy, 15 points, is running around with 2 attacks. But he's always at AP -1 because he's got an Astartes Chainsword. And when he gets into the Assault Doctrine, he's at AP -2. So it's kind of interesting because it means they're quite good. They're quite choppy. And what we found in the game was that thanks to the Templars Knights of Sigismund rule, where if they charge, they get to auto wound on 6s to hit. It was really, yeah, and with the amount of attacks you're putting out, you know, when you're charging and you're getting like 18 attacks from a squad, you know, a lot of those just auto, if you're lucky, you get a lot of auto wounds through. So it was a really interesting game, and I'm definitely, when I've cleared the Black Templar backlog, I'm going to have to think long and hard about if I decide to expand the Black Templars a little bit with some additional close combat Crusaders, because I am a little limited at the moment. I have a lot of bolter ones, but a lot of my close combat capabilities used to come from my neophytes, which are now poo. So there we go. Anyway, we're going to leave that we're going to leave this week's episode here for now. Let me know what you think about the new format. Let me know what you think about, you know, the Black Templars. Are you looking forward to seeing them some more battle reports? I'm kind of hoping to use them in a few battle reports between my channel and Johnny's channel, which is my brother's channel. So yeah, let me know what you think. It's always just fun to crack out the Black Templars because out of all the chapters, they are like, I would say they're the coolest because, you know, they're not. I just think they're the coolest. I genuinely think Black Templars are. They're just not. Watching a Black Templar battle report and watching, especially nowadays, a Firstborn Black Templar battle report is a very different vibe to watching a generic chapter Space Marine battle report. There's no Primaris in my army. I've got Rhinos, and I've got guys with chainsaws running around doing stuff. It's a very different battle. But there's also still lots of shooting and stuff because I'm not Blood Angels. So yeah, I highly recommend you guys check it out. Let me know what you think. I'm really excited for the battle report tomorrow. Probably made loads of mistakes because I'm not used to using Marines, but hopefully, you know, Sam helped me catch quite a few of them, so hopefully it won't be too bad. Hope you guys have enjoyed this battle report. Hope you guys have enjoyed this week's episode. Thank you for watching, and of course, I'll see you guys next time.